Hello there, good afternoon and welcome to JoyNews Today. I am Emefa Akosia Adeti. The bulletin is live from our studios here in Kokomlemle, Accra. We're also live on DSTV, channel 421 and Go TV, channel 125. Top stories this afternoon. Retired nurses reject government's plea to them to fill gap created by striking nurses.
I will say it emphatically that the conditions of service is very bad.
Details as strike by Ghana registered nurses and midwives continues unabated. And as well, Education Minister Haruna Idrisi rallies basic education certificate examination candidate urges discipline and integrity as they sit for their first major external examination today.
As they enter the exam hall, I urge them to remain calm, focused, and determined, and avoid any form of examination malpractice, believe in their ability to succeed.
We have more as candidates express readiness for the exams.
I'm very up. Shadow of doubt that we have the best of teachers.
It's our daily bread.
Oh my God!
Also in this package, we've got climate focus. A young man is providing a cleaner alternative to charcoal and firewood to significantly reduce air pollution, mitigating its impact on both human health and the environment.
Our efforts are not only beneficial to individuals, but also contribute positively to the country. Looking ahead, I firmly believe that within a decade, we can significantly reduce the country's reliance on firewood.
We've got these plus business, sports, showbiz in this package. JoyNews, independent, fearless and credible. Please stay for details. Thank you for staying. First, a retired nurse who worked for 40 years at the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital is questioning government's decision to engage retired nurses to fill the gap created by striking nurses. Comfort Edupoku indicates an attempt by any retired nurse to comply with government's request will be a betrayal to the profession. She says nurses have long worked for poor remuneration, negatively affecting the standard of living for those on pension. Nana Ojima has more in this report.
Madam Comfort Edupoku retired from active service 5 years ago. The amount she received as lump sum from the Social Security and National Insurance Trust contributions was invested in an over-the-counter medicine shop, which is now the main source of livelihood. To her, the retirement package received does not speak well of the years and energy spent in the profession.
I will say it emphatically that the conditions of service is very bad. I was surprised when I received my retirement package. The amount was very small. I couldn't believe my eyes. It is about time things change. They can't treat them like how we were treated.
The retiree believes it is about time those in the profession fought for an improved condition of service to live a better life upon retirement. She warns against any retired nurse heeding to the call to volunteer their service.
We worked with a lot of pain in our hearts. We refused to take any action for our conditions of service to be improved. Our younger colleagues should be treated better. They can't end up like us. We can't see all of them leave the country.
Meanwhile, the PRO of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association in Ashanti Region, Haruna Yakubu, has also asserted that the retired nurses are not able to take on the workload.
That they are also our members and they are part of this legitimate fight that we are fighting. And besides, they have worked for so many years and we need to let them rest. So we should not subject them to this stressful event at the moment. So that's why we say, no, we don't subscribe to this. They should rather find a lasting solution to this matter.
For Joy News, Nana Ojima, Kumasi.
Meanwhile, government says it is working through backroom channels to end the strike by the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, describing it as a dire situation threatening the lives of patients across the country. Government spokesperson Felix Kwachiofosu spoke on PM Express on Tuesday.
Indeed, somebody remarked to me that a hospital can do without doctors, but you cannot do without nurses. And this is a doctor, actually, who told me this. And so we know that they are the binding agents that holds the health delivery system together. And therefore, their presence at various hospitals is an absolute imperative. So it is deeply regrettable that they have had to call this industrial action. As government, we have been engaged in backroom efforts to have the impasse resolved as quickly as possible so that they can go back to post and render the essential services that they are noted for. It was important that we updated the Ghanaian public on the steps being taken. One, to address the impasse itself so that the nurses can go back to work. And then two, what measures are in place to mitigate the effects on patients, because as a government, it's our responsibility to look out for their welfare and do what we can to ensure that the strike does not imperil them and put them in.
Prosper Akpobi from the Kalibu chapter of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association joins me in studio for a conversation. We want to find out the situation in Kalibu. Prosper, thank you for joining us this afternoon. Did you go to work today?
No, please.
Did you go to work yesterday?
No.
The day before yesterday?
I'm on strike, please.
You are on strike, which tells me that as of now, this minute, the strike is still ongoing.
Yes, it's in full force.
As of yesterday, we're learning that the leadership of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association would go back to, reconsider because there's some sort of a table that you're negotiating on. Is this the case?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, we are on strike. And we are just hoping and praying that government will consider our demands. I mean, this is agreement signed by our employer, the Ministry of Health. And so we have agreed already. We are only expecting that government is going to call us and say, my people, come back to work. I have accepted, I am implementing your conditions. And that is all.
Is it a matter of assuring you that they will implement it, or it's a fact that you want to see the implementation before you go? Is it an assurance
we know that our system is such that we are paid at the end of the month. It is important to put on record that all the items we have in our conditions of service are all not supposed to come from the central government. Some are supposed to be paid by the facilities.
Okay.
And so what we want to see is, first of all, the government, the new government, accepting that we have received your document, we are implementing it, and then giving us the assurance that at the end of June, when you are receiving your salary, all the items that are supposed to come from the central government will be paid, and we are good to go back to work.
So far, what is government really telling you?
We're just learning that government says the budget is choked and that there is no space for us in the budget. But to be honest with you, the health minister promised us in February that we are waiting for March budget. So long as the budget is not ready yet, there is a hope. So we waited. The budget was read. We went back to the health minister, and he told us the finance minister has traveled. We waited. Finance minister came back, and the story keeps changing.
Okay.
Okay, so now we all know that in June, there is going to be a mid-year budget. It's just fair to expect that this time around, they will add us to this budget, especially when everybody is calling us essential service providers. We want to see that essential nature in the budget. All that we have in the budget, can we consider some and look at it and say that, look, these people are essential service providers. Their absence can lead to some amount of, damage to the general public. And so let's create a space and fix them there. That is all we are praying for.
Is this to suggest that government is not even considering the media budget at all and has suggested that
that is what we are learning.
2026?
That is what we are learning.
What's
that
the
whole
reason
2025 budget, there is no space for us. And that is disheartening.
Not even for the media budget?
That is what we are learning.
And so what will it take for you to go back to work?
It's that simple. You are our employer. You have agreed on some items as our conditions of service. We are just hoping that you sign that document and assure us that at the end of the month, June, we should expect those that will come from the central government, and then our facilities can go ahead and pay the ones that they are supposed to pay. That is our hope.
You just say that you recognize that we all are addressing you by the title essential workers, but it didn't reflect in the budget. The government says that it's a budget and they've prepared it already. You do not want to give any allowance at all to 2026 at all. What is giving you that? Why are you not having confidence in the government?
It's difficult to understand. Our document was available to this government before the budget. How come there is no space? It's not like you are done with the budget and you are now asking that we give you space to create it. You are now developing the budget, especially the mid-year. Our document has been on your table since January. Why is it difficult to put something there for the struggling nurses?
Okay.
We are just struggling to survive.
Do you appreciate that the mid-year budget is not entirely different from the whole year budget that is usually read at the beginning of the year, which this year was read in March? And so maybe there's genuine no allowance for this particular implementation, and that when they take it to 2026, still you won't go to work?
Yes, the fact of the matter is that it is only the government that has changed. Our employer remains the same.
Okay.
And all these directors are still at post. They were all aware. In fact, most of them were there, and some of them actually signed this document. So when advising the new government, one would have expected that they will brief them, we need to make provision for this and that. So it is not easy for us to understand that, yes, 2025 budget was developed, nurses were not considered as far as their conditions of service were concerned, and so we should sit down somewhere. All other things are important. We are going to work on them, but for the conditions of service for nurses in Ghana, we cannot get space. It is difficult for us to understand.
What do you say to people who are saying that, okay, because you provide essential service, you go back to work while you still engage government on the implementation? What do you say to them?
MFA, we gave government 12 good days before taking this action. If we all agree that our absence can cause a problem within the 12 days, don't you think we could have resolved this?
Do you agree that your absence will cause a problem to us as a country?
Obviously, when we go to work, we perform some tasks, and the task we are performing is to save life. So we know that when we are not there, there is possibility. Because we also know that we have a lot of other cadres who are working in the same ecosystem, the health sector, and so they are there. So we know they hold the fort. Some colleagues of ours, nurses, also agreed that they are not in support. They are there. Okay. So some way, somehow, we know that, yes, it may cause effect, but some people are there holding the fort.
What's the situation like in Kalibu currently?
Well, I didn't pass Kalibu this morning, but it is painful. It is a difficult decision we have taken. Looking at Kalibu that we knew, it is not the best. Okay. So we are just pleading with government to consider us. The
level of biting you expect the strike to bite, do you think it is biting the government this much?
We don't really want to hit government. It's not our intention. For us, we are just demanding for implementation. Okay. So the bite and all without bite it's not really our interest. We are just pleading for what they have signed. You employ us, you have signed agreement, this is what you want to give us. We are just asking for that. As to what's bite and all that, we are not really, we believe that government will listen to us so that we go back to work.
I'll take you back to Kalibu. You say that as of now, Kalibu is not the best, is not in its best shape now. What do you mean?
No, a lot of patients are now, have to resort to another facilities. Those on admission, some were discharged. It's left with few that our colleagues are managing. So that is not supposed to be the situation. Kalibu is that facility that takes care of the whole country and even the sub-region. And so we know that a lot of people are being denied because of our absence. We are only pleading and hoping that government will consider, so we go back and take care of our patients.
Whilst you're pleading with government, are you hearing our plea as well? Do you anticipate or expect some casualties, fatalities in the hospitals? Do you anticipate that at all?
We know it's a possibility. But we also believe that the doctors are there, the pharmacists are there, the lab technicians are there, and so they will be able to manage. Okay. That is our expectation.
So you don't think
until we come back.
You don't think that the strike will affect us directly that much?
Yes, we know that it can affect the general public, and that is the reason why we were generous enough to give 12 good days. Okay, we announced this action on the 28th of May. Okay, and we started the action on 4th June. So you should be asking the other side, within the period, what are we doing? This is not something new to us. This document was signed last year, May.
Okay.
We had our own issues, you know, internal one among the nurses, and so it delayed up to December. January, everything was set.
Okay.
So from January till now, does that mean that even before government was taken up, they planned not to consider it? If they did, then the first budget, which was in March, we were expecting that would be captured.
Okay.
In fact, the health minister promised us. It didn't happen. We are going for mid-year. Still, we cannot get space.
Okay. So beyond the mid-year, if you don't see anything at all, you're not asking for all of it in the mid-year, at least some of the things to be implemented. Okay. If you don't see it, you will strike till when?
Well, that answer depends on the National Council of my association. But to the best of my knowledge, we are waiting for implementation to go back to work.
When you leave here now, where are you going? Home?
I'm going home.
All right. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much, Mefa, for having me.
All right, you're watching Joy News Today. Let's turn our attention to the BEC Index. Education Minister Haruna Idrisu is asking candidates sitting this year's Basic Education Certificate examination to approach the exam with integrity, focus, and confidence, cautioning them against the temptation of examination malpractice and emphasizing the importance of discipline throughout the process. More than 600,000 candidates are sitting this year's Basic Education Certificate examination, marking the start of their transition to senior high school. Haruna Idrisu reassured students that the BEC is not merely a test of memory, but a true reflection of their comprehension, preparation, and the years of dedication.
Our students who have gone through training and the basic education of the Ghana Education Service. I'm accompanied by the Oti Regional Minister, Director General of GES, the head of the Inspectorate Division of the Ministry of Education. We are here to convey hearty encouragement and best and good luck wishes to our BEC students across the country, numbering 603,000 who are undertaking these exams from today, the 11th to the 17th of June. An important milestone in their academic life and journey. We're encouraging them to have faith and trust and confidence in themselves and what they have learned over the period, and to consider exam as a normal process. It is just to test the knowledge and skills they have acquired over the period. There must be zero tolerance for exam malpractices across the country. And these young children represent the future and wealth of our country, and they need to grow with integrity. Let no one of them be associated with any exam malpractice. We also would want to encourage the West Africa Examination Council to be very timely with the delivery of exam papers and other logistics in order that the exam can start on time and end on time, no matter the location of the exams. This morning visit with the regional minister, supported by the Director General, have exposed us to what government must urgently be looking at. One, the lighting system in the classroom, not good enough. And then the state of furniture in some of the schools, indeed in most of the schools, is in very deplorable state. Government will respond appropriately and timely to this request. Thank you.
Now let's take you across Ghana for updates from our correspondents. We start from Kumasi, where the Kumasi Central Prisons, as part of its reformation process, presented 5 bail inmates this year. Irabna Akwe joins us with update. Irabna, if you can hear me, what's the situation like in Kumasi?
Okay, so the situation is really calm. Students are preparing for their second paper, which is ICT, in about 10 minutes. Out of the over 600 pupils that have registered for the BEC this year, we have around 120
1,000 students in Kumasi alone. We have about 432 centers in Ashanti region. I am currently at the Anglican Senior High, where we have 2 centers, 429 schools in total. They have Center A and Center B, and they have to prepare to go write their second paper in few minutes. So I have some students here with me. I would like to speak to them. Hello, St. Peter's. How are you? How are you preparing for the paper?
Well, the first exams went well. It was better than I expected. The teachers gave us good, they were like, we went to the assembly hall, which was very comfortable. We got better treatment, good treatment, and I hope the next exams will be the same.
He hopes the next exams will be the same. Let me speak to somebody from Divine Grace. How are you preparing for the ICT paper?
I'm preparing for the ICT paper by like looking at my mocks so that I'll use it to prepare.
Okay. We have their teacher here. How has their energy been so far? How did they prepare and how do you see them now?
Actually, what they expected for the first paper, we thought it would be very difficult. Our preparation has been great, and as I said earlier, the people from them, what they are saying, they said it went well. Actually, it appeared to be very cheaper than what we expected. We groomed them. We started by camping them, I think about 3 months ago, and I think they are yet to prove us, and then maybe in the near future we have what you call, they'll come out with what wonderful result, and then we say we give glory to the Almighty God.
All right, thank you. Let me speak to somebody from Mary Seat of Wisdom. Hi, how was the first paper?
That's very good.
It was very good.
Yes.
Okay, how are you preparing for the next?
Yeah, I'm really prepared. You know, as a busy candidate, I'm actually preparing for the next paper, and I really want to write for, you know, for our school to get famous. So this for the streets, everybody.
Arabna.
This for our school, the younger ones, the younger generation.
If you can hear me,
all of you have to stick up to your books.
Of course, over here we're also wishing them all the best. But if you can hear me, tell me what you know about these 5 inmates from the Kumasi prisons.
Okay, so they are between the ages of 20 to 25 years, and currently, from what I witnessed, the Ashanti Regional Prisons Office are currently soliciting for funds to help them in their academics, and the KMA has already promised them their registration fees for their WASI when they successfully get into senior high school and complete from there.
That's good to know. Thank you so much for bringing us update from the Ashanti region, particularly Kumasi, and we wish all the students in Kumasi all the best. Now, I'll take you to the Central region where my colleague Abigail Acel is on standby. Abigail, what's the situation like with the BC candidates in the Central region?
We went to some centers here in Cape Coast. We first went to the Adesadel College. So before I begin, I will say in the Central region, about 66,765 candidates are sitting across 237 centers for this year's BEC. We went to the Adesadel College where we found out some 6 students were absent for the exams today, and there was a pregnant girl also sitting for the exams. And then we moved to Mfansipim School, BC Center. After the exams, the first paper, which is social studies, we spoke to some of the students, and even though it's just the first paper, they were very excited about how it went and very optimistic that they are going to get admission into their first choice school. They are just preparing. They are now on break, but they are preparing to write the second paper, which is computing, and they are very excited about that.
Okay.
Abigail, do we know everything goes on well?
Do we know anything about these 6 candidates who didn't show up? Was it expected, or the invigilators as well? Did they know anything about this?
The invigilators were not aware, so they didn't give us a reason why they were absent. They just said 6 students. So there are 2 centers actually at this other college. We have Center A and Center B. So when you go to the Center B, that is where we have some 2 students absent. And then when you go to Center A, we have some 4 students absent. They didn't give us a specific reason why they are absent, but it was unexpected, but that is the outcome. But we found a pregnant girl sitting for the exams at the Center B, and she's very hopeful. Obviously, we can't put her on camera, but she's very hopeful that the examination will go well. And all the students, after the first paper, are very happy. And although it's the first paper, they are still very confident.
Right. Thank you.
The
Thank
grade
you.
ones are going to be in.
Okay, Abigail, thank you. And I especially wish that pregnant young lady the best in this year's BEC. Away from the Central Region, I'll now take you to the Upper West Region, where Rafiq Salam is on standby. Rafiq, what's the situation in the Upper West Region?
The situation in the Upper West Region has about 14,733 students taking part in this examination in this region. And then out of this number, a little over 3,000 will be in the Wa municipality, and they are writing this examination in 12 centers. So today, this morning, we visited 4 of the centers, starting from the Wa Senior High Technical School, Wa Senior High School, and then also the Wa Methodist School for the Blind. They are writing this exam using the Braille, and then also the Wa Technical Institute. And so this is what is really happening in this municipality, and I can report to you that after the paid paper, we managed to speak to some of the candidates. They are really they are really happy about the way things pan out at the exam, because they are saying that what they have really read last night regarding this social studies paper has come to pass, and they believe that they will come out with flying colors. So they are now waiting, expecting to take the ICT paper, which now they are waiting with bated breath for that paper to come. So they are saying that good start, and they think that at the end of the day, Tuesday, and then when the results are being announced, they will be smiling.
Thank you so much, Rafiq, bringing us some nostalgic moments there. But let's take you to the Oti region, where Ivy Setoji is on standby. Ivy, what's it like in the Oti region? Well, I'll take you to Peter instead. Peter Seno, of course. Peter, what's it like in the Oti region? Peter, if you can hear me, what's it like in the Oti region for the BC candidates? Would you unmute so that I can hear you? Okay, you're watching JoyNews Today, and we're going across the country, bringing you the ambience of what's looking like for the BEC candidates taking the exam this year, which started today. Just gone by as a social studies, we're getting ready for ICT. But I'll take you to the Volta region, where Ivy Setoji is on standby. Ivy, which part of the Volta region are you, and what can you report?
Okay, so I'm in Ho, that's the capital of the Volta region, and everything is ongoing. Some few students are been reported with pregnancy, and they are still writing. I was earlier on at the talk of SHS, where 2 students students were pregnant, currently writing, with 2 of them not feeling too well, but they are also still writing. As we speak, they are currently waiting to enter the hall for their second paper. In all, we have 29,888 public schools and 9,779 private schools participating from the Volta region this year in the BECE. Students in most of the centers we visited are confident of coming out victorious. We went to some of the private schools as well, where, like the Mata Ecclesia School in Sokode, where the headmistress is confident that her students will come out victorious. So apart from the few pregnancies and some few of them who were not able to turn up to write, everything is going on smoothly in the Volta region currently.
Okay, thank you, Ivy. Maybe a little later, you want to find out the number of pregnant women or ladies, young girls, who are sitting this year as compared to last year, whether we've made some progress. But away from the Oti region, from the Volta region, I'll take you to the Oti region, where Peter Senu is on standby. Peter, what's it like in the Oti region?
Well, I'm afraid the exams has started around 9 a.m. It's currently on break, but has taken smoothly here in the Oti region. And so currently the children are on break. In the Oti region, we expect some 11,936 candidates to take part in this year's exam, comprising of 6,425 males and 5,511 females, with 46 centers here in the Oti region. In fact, I have some students with me here that I want to interact with briefly to get their mood as to how easy or difficult the paper was for them. What's your name? Pardon? Martins Maker. How difficult or easy was the paper for you? It was easy. How, if you say easy, what do you mean? It went well. Were you able to answer all your questions? How many questions did you answer? 3 questions. But looking at your performance, at least for today, and then going forward, what aggregate do you think you can make for yourself so that you can meet the cutoff for your selected schools? 12, aggregate 12. All right, so Martins is telling me that she wants to make aggregate 12 for her selected school. I have a colleague here also. Let me speak to her briefly. What's your name?
Agatha.
Ankude Agatha. Okay, fine. So how difficult or easy was the paper for you? Interesting. If you say interesting, what exactly do you mean by interesting?
Oh, unfortunately, we're able to hear quite clearly. But from the Oti region, we'll take you to the northern region where Martina is on standby. Martina, what's it like in the northern region?
For the northern region, the first paper, a few that I spoke to said that they were optimistic that what they were expecting had come, and they were optimistic that they would score very good grades. Now they said they had studied overnight, they had prepared, they had been drilled for today, and it's yielding because the first paper proved it, and they were looking forward to the second paper that was yet to begin. They are hoping that most of them I spoke to said they are hoping to make 6 ones, which will gain them entry into the best senior high schools in the country.
All right, Martina, thank you for bringing us updates as well from the northern region. It looks as though, or it appears as though, all the candidates are quite ready for this year's exams. But away from the BEC, President Mahama has tasked the new Police Governing Council to lead the conversation on improving the conditions of service for all police personnel. Speaking at the swearing-in ceremony of the council, he asked the members to also address internal challenges within the service, including politicization, disregard for seniority, and unfair postings. He acknowledged the frustrations expressed by many officers and assured them of his full support in resolving these concerns.
One cannot speak of reforms without addressing the welfare of officers. Our officers cannot give their best when they are demotivated, when they are underpaid, when they are poorly dressed, poorly housed, or working in substandard conditions. This council must lead the conversation on improving the conditions of service for all personnel, from logistics and accommodation to pensions and psychological support.
That's the climate focus next. After 34 years of mastering his craft at Kumasi Technical Institute, Mukhtar Saidu is on a mission to harness his fabrication expertise for the greater good. His vision is to design and manufacture eco-friendly gas stoves, roasters and boilers as well, tailored especially or specifically for Ghanaian households. Mahmoud Nuruddin visited his engineering shop at Kumasi Magazine, and here is his report.
Meet Mukhtar Saidu, a Ghanaian fabricator on a mission to reduce air pollution. Mukhtar believes that collective action can spark transformative change.
In a month, our team is able to manufacture about 500 stoves, given our current workforce. Interestingly, we often receive customers who purchase these stoves as soon as we complete production. As you can see, our efforts are not only beneficial to individuals, but also contribute positively to the country. Looking ahead, I firmly believe that within a decade, we can significantly reduce the country's reliance on firewood, thereby promoting a more sustainable and environmentally friendly practice.
According to studies, charcoal and firewood contribute to emissions, particularly in developing countries, but there is a cleaner alternative. Mokhtar says his products are durable, cost-effective, and produce less emissions.
If we continue to refine our manufacturing process, I'm confident that our product will attract an even larger customer base. The fact that many people are already purchasing and testing our products is a testament to their excellence. We've also priced our products competitively to encourage more people to try them, making them an attractive option for those in the market.
Samuel and Opoku, satisfied customers of Mokhtar, emphasized that the fight against air pollution requires a collective effort.
If you are using this type of machine, it's far better because it's different from using charcoal, using wood. You see, right now we are in a place that we are entering a new era. So when you use these things, you see that you are okay, you are far better. The cooking makes fast, and at the same time, you see that the things that you are using to make cook will not have a problem like your cooking utensils will make dark and that kind of thing. So I think it's good.
Mokhtar stresses that everyone must play a role in reducing emissions to create a healthier environment. A report by Mohamed Nuruddin.
Climate Focus is brought to you by JoyNews in partnership with Youth Bridge Foundation, bridging gaps for positive youth development, and the Climate Development Knowledge Network.
You're watching News Today. Please stay. When we return on business, we'll tell you how Ghana's economy has grown by some 5.3% in the first quarter of this year.
Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to Business. My name is Darryl Kwao. Ghana's economy grew by 5.3% in the first quarter of this year. That's according to data released by the Ghana Statistical Service. The growth rate recorded for the first 3 months of this year is far higher than the little over 4% posted in the same period in 2024. The strong growth, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, was influenced by a strong pickup in activities in the agric sector. Here's government statistician Dr. Al-Hassan Idrisu.
Nominal GDP for 2025 quarter one was 375.2 billion Ghana cedis, and this increased from the 2024 quarter one nominal GDP of 290.7 billion Ghana cedis. Non-oil nominal GDP, which is nominal GDP excluding oil and gas, was 364.3 billion Ghana cedis, up from 278.3 billion Ghana cedis in 2024 of quarter one. Real GDP for 2025 quarter one, like I said, this will be the GDP after we have taken the effect of inflation away, and that was 53.5 billion Ghana cedis, and this increased from the 2024 quarter one real GDP of 50.8 billion Ghana cedis. I must say that the 2025 quarter one real GDP represents a growth rate of 5.3%, up from 4.9% in the same period in 2024, despite the ongoing trade wars and the global uncertainty. So in simple language, the real GDP for quarter one of 2025 grew by 5.3%. If you strip off oil, non-oil real GDP for quarter one 2025 was 51.4 billion, up from 48.2 billion. And in terms of its growth rates, it grew by 6.8% for the first quarter of 2025, compared to 4.3% recorded for 2024 quarter one. So what this means is that the non-oil real GDP for quarter one of 2025 was actually higher than the overall GDP growth rate of 5.3% for the same quarter, meaning that the non-oil sectors are performing much better. So what this means is that, but for the negative impact of the oil and gas sector, we would have been growing much higher. And once we stripped off the impact of oil and gas, we are looking at 6.8%.
All right, we've got more analysis on this at the top of the hour on the marketplace. Next, the Ghana Chamber of Mines has expressed confidence that the mining sector will continue to play a vital role in supporting the stability of the city in the medium to long term. Speaking at a press conference in Accra, Chief Operating Officer of the Chamber, Ahmed Dasana Natoma, underscored the importance of strategic collaboration with key stakeholders, particularly the Gold Board, to sustain the sector's positive contribution to economic growth.
I think that mining companies have always been responsible in their activities, paying the taxes the right amount at the right time and supporting the state. So if what we are doing has led to this stabilization, we are very happy to applaud ourselves, as you say. But it's not because when they repatriate their profits, it affects the city. Mining companies return over 74% of whatever they make into this country. And that has been the norm over the past 10 years. So it's just the approach to how we are using our currency that has helped change. And also, like Ken said, geopolitical activities also affect some of these things. If you know what Trump is doing, the tariffs and against what China, a lot of people are moving away from the dollar. And that also let the dollar reduce the shine. So those things, but working together, even with the Gold Board and everybody, to keep the mining industry afloat, then we can continue to see that we have a long-term stabilization of our currency. We don't want flash in the pan. Today is up, tomorrow is down. We want something that is stable, that is sustainable, and that mining companies who are contributing to this can then, for once, be appreciated for what we have been doing all these years. Because when it goes bad, they say mining companies. Anytime it's good. But when it's good, people are a bit shy. But we have been bringing a lot of currency back into the country.
And that's it for business. We're taking a short break. We will be right back.
Welcome back to News Today, and time now for sports, and Muftal is here. Muftal is going to be telling us who some legends going to be awarded at the Ghana Football Awards coming up.
Yes, for their contribution to the development of football, the likes of Harry Zakor, a former Chief Executive Officer of Accra House of Oak, Opo Kunti, a former Chief Executive Officer of Kumasi Asante Kotoko, Herbert Mensah, as well as veteran journalist Ken Bediako. Nana Butler, who is a former chairman of the Ghana Football Association, has been eulogizing these people for their contribution to the development of football in Ghana.
Great guy. He's contributed a lot to this sector. And so he did it at Olympics. He moved to Hearts of Oak and even did better. I also had the opportunity to show my appreciation to him when Hearts of Oak were going to the championship in Africa, and they had to go somewhere to acclimatize. I got my company, Arab Contractors, to host them in Egypt, prepare them well, and they went and conquered Africa under Harry Zakor. So, Harry, congratulations.
Then there's Herbert.
Herbert, hey, in his own right, okay. A bit controversial, I might say, but he's a lovely guy if you get to know him. I got to know him. He has a lot of respect for me, and so do I. And even for his humanitarian gestures, especially on 9th of May, when we had that disaster. I cannot forget, because I lost my worker, my good electrician. And guess what? The next day, 10th has always been my birthday. So as soon as it's coming, it's sadness, but my birthday also comes, so I can't forget. And the way he's gotten himself involved emotionally to that day. When the day comes, it's not just those fallen victims, but it's Herbert Mensah as well. So Herbert, congratulations. And you are talking about Ken Bidiako, exactly. A veteran journalist, full of history. I read a lot from him. A friend of his, Ike Duse, who's on a common platform with us, is always posting his writings. And I do not contribute a lot there, but I can assure him that all the writings, all his contributions, I do read. I really read them. And most of them very factual, very historic. So Ken, a veteran journalist in your own right, congratulations.
Up next is showbiz.
Welcome back to Joy News, and time now for showbiz. And guess who's here? Jackie. Jackie said, what's up with showbiz?
Well, a lot. We have Festac, we have R. Kelly, and other stories trending today. All right. Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the showbiz segment with me, Jacqueline, and Samar Yabo. To our first story for today, Ghana is getting ready to host the continent's biggest celebration of arts and culture. The Ghana Tourism Authority says Accra will transform into a melting pot of music, dance, fashion, and African pride as over 100,000 delegates from across the globe gather for this once-in-a-lifetime spectacle.
From 21st to 27 September, Festac will light up the capital with the full week of culture-packed events, from art exhibitions and live performances to fashion shows and trade expos. CEO of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Mami Efua Huajeto, emphasized that Africa is ready to take center stage, define its own destiny, and tell its own story.
To unite in purpose, in pride, and in progress.
And it's not just about the beats and the beats. This year's theme connects the dots between culture and big picture issues like health, gender equity, trade, climate action, and tourism, all aimed at unlocking Africa's full economic potential.
From Independence Square to Kumasi, Cape Coast, and the rest of Ghana will open its arms to the world. Together, we will celebrate our music, our arts, our entrepreneurs, and most importantly, our people. To the private sector, this is your platform to engage. To policymakers, this is your opportunity to lead. To our cultural icons and creatives, this is your stage. To the media, this is your story.
Anne-Marie Desi and Natalie Dowder's report read to you.
Well, it seems the line between gospel and hip life worlds is a bit too divine to cross for some artists. While celebrated hip life crew Kwabna Kwabna has opened up about an experience in the gospel space. In a candid chat on Daybreak Hit, the adult music hitmaker revealed that a gospel artist turned down a feature request on his gospel album.
Kwabna Kwabna may be known for his sensual high-life tunes. His latest venture into gospel music seemed to hit a star note, and not the kind you can auto-tune. According to him, the rejection wasn't just a no, it felt like a judgment.
There was, one particular gospel artist, for obvious reasons, Monidi, but I believe she was a bit disrespectful.
Wow.
Yeah, she made me feel like as a Miriasini. Yeah.
From mama.
Yeah. Yes. I called her personally, artist to artist, and then she asked me to speak to her husband. But you see, that's on this note, I would like to appreciate Obapa Christie.
Oh.
Yeah, because when I phoned her to talk to her about doing the song, she even made me feel like she's rather honored to do a song with me. And
well, to some international showbiz, R. Kelly is back in the headlines and not for a comeback tour. The singer, who is currently serving over 30 years behind bars, is now claiming that prison officials have done more than just lock him up. They allegedly tried to take him out. We have more in the following report.
Legal team is making some wild new claims, accusing prison officials and prosecutors of plotting to silence the singer permanently. In a fresh court filing, attorney Bo Brindley is calling for Kelly's immediate release, alleging that officials at Butner Federal Prison in North Carolina are trying to keep him quiet about prosecutorial misconduct.
These are people who seek to kill Mr. Kelly rather than allow the corrupt criminal conduct of those who manufactured his convictions be exposed.
Kelly was convicted back in 2021 on a stack of charges: racketeering, sex trafficking, and child pornography, accused of using his fame to prey on underage girls. Though some charges in Chicago were later dropped, his past caught up with him in courtrooms from coast to coast. But now, Kelly's flipping the script, saying the justice system that once crowned him guilty is now gunning for him. From singing "I Believe I Can Fly" to trying to flee federal time, R. Kelly's saga keeps spinning.
On that note is a wrap for the showbiz segment with me, Jacqueline, and Samar Yabua. Over to you, MFA Akosiadeti.
Well, I hope he sees some light at the end of the tunnel and the storm will be over for him. But thank you so much, Jackie, for bringing us showbiz on JoyNews Today. I am MFA Akosiadeti. Thank you for watching this More News. If you log on to myjoyonline.com, and guess who's behind the camera coming? It will be Daryl bringing you Marketplace. Thank you for watching.